very important day. And to be honest with you, I never knew what this International Women's Day was until this year. I got interested because of the theme of the celebration, which is digital innovations and technology for gender equity. I had no idea what this day was being celebrated for until I saw this theme and it caught my attention. I said, let me go back and just read through what is International Women's Day. And I discovered it was, this was a celebration that was engineered by Clara, I can't pronounce her, Clara Cadence, in about 1910. That was a long time ago. And these are women who were trying to fight for higher pay and were trying to fight for shorter working days and all this. So in 1911, they had their first celebration of International Women's Day, which saw about 15,000 women marching down the streets of New York to see how they can be recognized also. And later on, the UN adopted that and they started celebrating International Women's Day, and it's gone globally. Everybody celebrates it on the 8th of March, which is this day we're celebrating, this special event. Now, before I proceed with today's discussion, I have very special women in this studio, and these are women who are making a difference in the industry because they're contributing so much. They've seen the need to contribute to the sector, different sectors of society, and they're doing tremendous things. And I think it's just women, it's just important to celebrate them, to recognize them, and as well to share their experiences on what they're finding on the ground. Now, this episode is brought to you by WEAC, that is Women's Entrepreneurship Access Center, which is based right here in Lusaka, and it's supported by U.S. Department of State. Now, WEAC offers a mentorship and provides an environment, a very conducive environment for a woman who's trying to make it in life as an entrepreneur. And we all know that women can be aggressive when it comes to entrepreneurship, and they contribute so much, not just to social, political, economic development, but also in different spheres of life, in their homes, in their careers, and just in different places. So in celebrating today's International Women's Day, please allow me to introduce the special guests that we have in the studio, and these are from different sectors, they've got different backgrounds, and we'll just hear from them. Starting from my far right, please, our lovely, phenomenal woman, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Marita. My name is Yaza Kara, and I work for Steinbeck Bank. My role is really around digital transformation, so really understanding innovation and how we can work with different partners in order to innovate and digitally transform the organization, as well as products and services for our customers. At Steinbeck Bank, we believe that Zambia is our home and we drive our growth. And obviously, for me, I strongly believe that the strong catalyst for economic growth is technology and innovation. So this is 100% aligned with this year's theme for International Women's Day. And we look forward to being a part of this, and I'm really excited to be part of this discussion.
Thank you so much, Heather, for joining us today. Our next panelist.
Thank you, Marita. My name is Maiza Chilombe, and I'm the founder of Chester Technology Limited. We're an IT company that develops mobile applications and software solutions tailored to meet the business needs of small, medium, and large enterprises. I'm also part of the WEAC network, and I recently completed my Academy for Women Entrepreneurship program.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's very good. And we go to my immediate right. Can you introduce yourself in under 1 minute?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Susan Kapiakatoye, and I am the founder of Zelo Plus. Zelo Plus is a follow tutor that links students to teachers within the same location. And I am part of the WEAC alumni.
WEAC alumni?
Alumni, yes.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. So we can link teachers and students in different localities, and they'll be able to have their lectures, isn't it? Is that what it means?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's a very brilliant idea. It's a very good innovation. And to my left here, my immediate left, our lovely lady, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Marita. I'm pleased and I'm glad to be here. My name is Priska Msonga. I'm from the Ministry of Education, and in particular the Directorate of Curriculum Development. I'm a curriculum developer, and I develop the curriculum. I'm one of the people who develop the curriculum in the country. I'm an author, and in particular, I deal with teachers and learners who are the most important stakeholders in our country.
Okay, we are glad to have you, and I'm sure we'll hear more on what the ministry is doing concerning today's topic on innovation and technology, especially for our young ones out there. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. And please, our lovely lady there.
Thank you so much, Marita, for having me. My name is Emma
cybersecurity specialist at Zambia Information, Communications and Technology Authority, WEAC, which is the ICT regulator. So my role at Victor is basically to educate consumers on how they can be safe online, and we really tackle the vulnerable groups. As you know, women and girls are part of that group, and persons with disabilities, and also children in general.
I don't know, now there's a lot of cyberbullying, all these things, because everything has gone cyber, everything has gone digital. We need to protect our people, right? Thank you so much for joining us. And our last panelist there, please introduce yourself in less than a minute.
Thank you so much, Manita. Thank you, WEAC, for having us today. My name is Hannah Redders. I work for DSIK, which stands for German Sparkassenstiftung for International Cooperation. And we're here working together with the Central Bank, with Bank of Zambia, on the financial education and financial inclusion agenda. And also I'm a researcher, and what I've done with University of Stellenbosch, I wrote a paper on exactly the digital gender divide and how ICT can help to overcome it.
Yeah, and that's actually, I think the theme is speaking to what you did, right? So you give us more insight on that, and for them to come up with this theme this year, I think you have more information on why there is gender parities in the digital, in the technology sector. Okay, so we begin our discussion around the topic digital, and digital, by the way, it's digital, which means everyone. Inclusiveness is what we're talking about here. How can we include a woman who is also sidelined? And we know now there's been a lot of biasness and discrimination against a woman in technology and in these sciences. And we've been trying to advocate to see how women can be included in the tech industry, especially in the STEM courses and STEM careers. So these women today are going to speak to that, to see how we can break this code of gender divide in the technology sector. My first reaction based on this topic in appreciating this year's theme, I'll direct this one to Yaza. Do you think women are good innovators? As in innovators, are women good innovators? And what do you think is the reason, in fact, because now we know the numbers are very low in the tech sector, right? So what do you think is the reason for the low numbers in the technology sector?
Okay, thanks for that question, Marita. And my answer is absolutely loud yes. Women are definitely good innovators. And the reason why I say this is mainly because women are natural fixers.
We fix things.
Yes, women fix things. And most importantly, we're able to identify problems and we're able to provide solutions. And if that doesn't make a good innovator, then what does? Yeah, what really does? So women are creative. Women are able to solve problems. They are able to provide solutions. Unfortunately, despite this, the numbers are low.
Very low.
Very low. And one thing I always say, we talk about equality year in, year out.
Yeah.
But add the sprinkling of a woman being in technology and innovation, and that gap is even wider, if you can believe that. It even goes wider. The reasons behind this are numerous, many. And if you look at the general sphere of women, where it's a broad spectrum. So it depends on a number of things that really are challenges and blockers to women in technology, in innovation. And some of these include things like just accessibility to digital devices, digital products, understanding of these digital products, digital devices. So it's about skills. The skill set, is it being availed to women, to young girls? So the other big challenge is culture. You know, I don't know how many of us we know that you're told when you're young, you should be in the kitchen. Why are you bothering with maths? Maths is for boys. Forget about maths. You come and help your younger brothers and sisters, or come and help mommy cook in the kitchen. That's where you belong. And maths is hard. It's too hard for girls.
Yeah.
Then you look at maybe the girl in university. She's in a classroom full of guys. And the lecturer tells her, but why do you put lipstick? Why do you even bother? If you don't, but it's not right. That's wrong. Okay? And by the way, that has happened. So I'm not making that up. So those are things that happen, and there's so much bias against women and young girls in technology and in innovation. So if some of these blockers can be removed, and so much rhetoric, so much talking, when are we going to start acting?
Yeah, and just stop talking about it.
Yes, let's stop talking.
Yeah, because like yesterday I was speaking to somebody actually who told me that you women have been talking about gender equality for a long time. What is happening? We've been talking about it, but nothing's being done. When are you going to stop talking? Start walking the talk. So we need to get to a point where what we talk about today, tomorrow, needs to stop. Alright, needs to stop, and we need to get it to a point where now we start implementing whatever we talked about. So we just put this thing aside and we just look at everybody equally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yaza is raising a very important point there, which is called in the research the unpaid cared work. So this is mainly on the women's shoulders. As you can say, okay, men work more hours in formal labor, maybe, but all the part of the household work is taken up by women. And this is where actually digital tools provide a brilliant solution if the access is given. What the research says is, in this paradoxon about embracing digital tools, it's somehow a male sphere. That's how it's perceived. But funny enough, once you disaggregate the data and you look for those confounding variables in terms of education, income, formal employment, the time constraints of unpaid care, women actually tend to embrace digital tools more enthusiastically. Because of the social aspect of the way they use it is also benefits the whole family. For example, once you can access that information, usually in development economics, you look at what are the impacts for the whole household nutrition.
You put it to good use.
Yeah, exactly. That's positive.
So you find boys in homes are the ones who are with tablets, a woman in the kitchen, as she said. So a girl won't be on the phone, but in generally that's exposure for a boy to technology already, to digital platforms, but a girl won't have that access until at a later stage. That's why they're always being left behind. All right, thank you so much.
To just add up on,
yes, please.
I think also lack role models and tech. Yeah, because looking at what I'm doing as in education, I don't have anyone that I have to look up to. Yeah, so we lack a lot of role models.
No mentors, in short, no one to inspire you to say this is the way to go. So these are the barriers that we need to break. I think as we're going forward, all of us will have a role to play. We need to break these barriers and ensure that we all have equal access to these platforms. Now, coming from the point of Zikta, cybercrime is on the rise. Right? Cybercrime is on the rise, and we have these cases being reported every day. And also, what preventive measures do you think girls and women need to put across to avoid being cyberbullied?
I think before I even go into that, I would just like to state that the Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Act has now criminalized most of these things that happen online. So what I always encourage people is have a look at the act. So that's, I think, your first weapon. I think when people understand their rights and what has been given to them in that act, you see that most of the things that we take for granted. Because even someone just posting something bad on your picture now has been criminalized. So I think I'd like everyone to just take an interest. It's online. You can Google it, read it. And then even within the act, there's a section that covers cyberbullying, which is the harassment part of it. But then it goes beyond that. Because now cyberbullying has metastasized into something bigger.
In Zambia, especially this country, you just can't go on the internet and find somebody talking good about somebody. There's always somebody saying negative, bullying the person.
And then statistics have shown that most it's women, by the way. Women are the most vulnerable at the same time as the attacker. So I think women, because you see, when it comes to social media, what males use for women is different. Women will go on there to find something to comment on, even just what we follow. Like when we did a mini survey that showed that most women will follow all these engaging pages. So you have the popular Zambia weddings and kitchen parties, all these pages that call for comments. And when you see the cyberbullying comments that are there, they're mostly done by women. So when it comes to preventative measures, so we have to obviously just look at ourselves and say, like when I go into, I think for preventative measure number one is to talk about it. The discussion that we're having now is very powerful. As Zika, we are mandated to create awareness. So we start from as little as a child, because our statistics show that children as little as 6 are using the internet. So we have like different programs for kids at that age. So we've started from that age to say, look, even when you are given access to these things, use them appropriately.
For the intended purpose.
Yes, for the intended purpose. And you see the young ones actually know more than the adults. There's a lot of cyberbullying that occurs yes in the schools, but they know that what they're doing is wrong. So they do it more covertly. Like you won't know that a child is being cyberbullied. Adults will go and comment on a picture, and you see, oh, commented by so and so. Commented by Malta. Whereas the kids will do it, inwardly. So I think a way in which we can also prevent that is, I feel like as women we also put up too much information about ourselves on social media. I'm not saying that's wrong, because you have people who that's their job. Like we have influencers now who need to put out
Information about themselves.
Yes. So even when we're in the field talking to kids, I always differentiate and say you need to realize that some people on social media discussing that that's their job. They are paid to do that. So if an influencer will expose their whole life, remember that it might not even be their life. There's probably endorsements behind that and so many other things, but putting too much information out there makes you a target.
And for a child, they won't even know that this is what is going on in the background. For them, it could just be somebody being bullied or being bullied about it and stuff.
Exactly. So that's number one. And it opens up because you see, cyberbullying has gone beyond a comment. Now women are being harassed. That's also part of it. You find because of what you put out about yourself. I'll give you a typical example of what's happening now. We have a lot of cyber extortion cases. And women are obviously the most targeted, the most vulnerable. But it's because you have criminals who go on social media for the sole purpose, they'll target you. They'll go on your page, okay, by Malika. They'll see what you do, what you post. And because you've said, for instance, you post your whole life there, you make yourself vulnerable because now they know how
they
to
can use your information to do anything, to tell you anything.
Tell you anything. And as women are easily convinced on social media, yes, looking at the statistics. You find that people in relationships go they've never met, and those things always end bad.
They end back at you.
But the next thing you know, you're being blackmailed, you're being harassed. So I think preventive measure number one is you don't need to put your whole life on social media. We need to remember that those platforms are open to everyone.
Everyone can access them anywhere, they can do anything with your information.
Yes.
We have heard it, please do not post your whole life on social media. Protect yourself, protect your future.
And end the relationship with people you don't know.
Is that possible on social media?
The relationship. Yes, very much so. Like, if we list like the cases we get, like now obviously we have something that's trending with this WhatsApp hack thing, but the sextortion, online blackmail, it's always there. We get so many cases every month on a monthly basis. And you see, the funny thing is that you realize when we're doing awareness. So we did a country awareness last year, and we went into rural areas. That's where the cases are. Yeah, because and that's the funny part, because you see, technology has just advanced. Smartphones are relatively cheap now. Most people can access it. So when someone who doesn't have that knowledge joins Facebook, doesn't really read the terms and conditions, doesn't really know what's going on, and this Caucasian European person sends him a message and says, and because they've posted their whole life, you live here, you're, say for example, a widow, you're taking care of 2 kids, they'll approach you in that way. I see. And they tailor their messages to what you put out.
So what you put out.
Yes. So they'll target really vulnerable people. I want to come to Zambia, I'll take care of you, I'll do all sorts of things. And in fact, your 80-year-old grandma has exposed herself. And it's so crazy. But that's the level that
things are going
to. If I may ask, all this, for me personally, I feel somehow it's a bit of ignorance. We are not really aware, as a lay person, I'm not really aware of the act. So how accessible is that act? As a lay person who doesn't even know what an act is, how am I going to access that act?
Okay, so even in the consultative stages of the act, we did do a countrywide awareness. We also do radio programs. For instance, when we go into a province, like during the trial period in Eastern Province, we'll make sure that we cover most of the districts that we can within our budget. And in those districts, we'll go on radio, we'll go into the markets, speak to people in the markets, we'll visit schools in the district, we'll go maybe speak to the devs in that district, give them information, we'll train teachers. So we have like a comprehensive program to see that we can try and cover.
So just create awareness amongst the public, the society.
Emma, do you have like an annual agenda for that? Like I know we do now Financial Literacy Week is blocked in the calendar each year for those same outreach programs. Is there something similar?
Yes, so actually, and interestingly enough, this year we're targeting women and girls as a vulnerable group. Yeah, last year we targeted persons with disabilities.
Okay.
So this year that's our program, and we have a program for each and every month.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm just telling Manita out next week.
She's always on the road. Okay, thank you so much, Emma. So in terms of protecting these, reporting these issues, these cyberbullying and cybercrime, how do we go about it? I know that the act is there, it still needs interpretation for most of us. So at this stage, how does a woman who's being cyberbullied go to report about these cases?
Like I said before, it's a crime. So every parent must report it to the police. We do assist the police when they need technical support. We have a team that assists them. But please, if you're being cyberbullied, and if you look at the act, the definition of cyberbullying in the act, it covers everything from emotional distress. Somebody like I send you a text message today and you feel emotionally distressed by my text message. I have cyberbullying you.
Wow,
I have harassed you. Yes.
I have a lot of those. I
You
can
can report. You have women who are cyber stalked by their ex-boyfriends. We have a lot of those cases.
Okay.
Maybe you sent some intimate pictures, which you shouldn't, by the way, it's a crime, to your when you're in a relationship, and now that is being used against you. You can report all that to the police. The police have a unit, a cybersecurity unit, actually, yes, who were trained. So when they take up those cases, they usually then come to us to see how we can provide technical support to them.
Okay, thank you so much, Emma. That was, I think, very insightful. I didn't know most of these things. Emotional distress. I'm touched by that.
Sorry, just for the kids, we have a collaboration with Childline. They have a toll-free number, a free number that you can report cyberbullying. It's anonymous. It's 116.
Okay.
Yes, so that line is supported by Zipsha. So that's just to ensure that every child has access to someone to talk to. Sometimes you don't want to report the case and just want to talk to
Somebody.
Yeah, it's toll-free and it's on 24/7. And then for adults, there's 932.
Yes, and I'm assuming that the children know as in these outreach programs
For them.
in schools.
Yes. Yes. So like when yesterday I was in school, we make sure we give that information. And even when the lifeline came up, information was sent to all the schools just to make sure that they educate the children about the line. Because it also covers abuse, physical, emotional abuse, and you can report on behalf of the child.
Okay. So if you're reporting on behalf of a child and an adult, do you use the 116?
Yes.
Okay. So wow, this is very interesting. I had no idea such things exist, and thanks to this debate, this discussion, I think it's enlightening all of us in this room that you can actually report some of these things if you feel you're being bullied. Okay, thank you so much, Emma. Now we'll come to the Ministry of Education. Technology has rapidly evolved over the years, and we have seen different economic sectors embracing technology in so many areas, and the education sector has not been spared. All right. So, in terms of the ministry, what is the ministry doing to ensure that primary schools to secondary schools have those digital platforms at an early stage before they go probably to college or university? What is the ministry doing about that? Because we know that there's now e-learning where you can access your learning materials online, you can actually learn from home. So we want to hear from the ministry, what is it that the ministry is doing in order to empower the schools and the learners with these digital platforms?
Okay, first and foremost, remember that as education, we are talking about first and foremost the curriculum, which is the engine of the country.
Yes.
Once we destroy the curriculum, we destroy the whole country. So as ministry, as my colleague talked about innovativeness, that is our main focus. Innovativeness is our main focus, and we have to start from as early as ECE,
childhood education.
childhood education. And then as ministry, we don't forget parents, and remember the parents are the first teachers in the education of the child. So most of the time, we as parents, we are the ones who start with the children, and mostly it's us mothers who deal with these children. So as women, we work in collaboration with the ministry so that once we collaborate with the teachers, we know where the child is coming from. So firstly, we have policy. We have the biggest policy in the education system, which is educating our future. Now, from educating our future, we have now the curriculum policy, which is the 2013 curriculum framework. In that framework, that is where we start from as the ministry. Yes. So we have outlined now the introduction of computer studies from as early as early education through to grade 12.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. I think
Yes.
that's huge.
It is a subject. It is a standalone subject. It has a syllabus in that line, and it has materials. So once we do that policy, then people are called in now to come and work with us. We have partners like Zamtel. Zamtel, in collaboration with the ministry, has opened an e-learning platform where, as you said, there's an access of educational materials, past papers for examinations. We have e-books also, and those e-books, once you access them, they are e-books which have been approved by the Curriculum Development Center, because as a government, we can't use books which are not approved by the ministry. So whatever book that you write, which you want to be used in the government schools as well as in the private schools, it has to pass through the Curriculum Development Center. Then it is evaluated by the curriculum developers. For your own information, at CDC, which is Curriculum Development Center, we have subject specialists. For each subject, there are subject specialists. So we evaluate those materials. And then we also work with Zeta. Zeta has helped us also to distribute desktops in about
I was coming to that. I got interested in that.
6,000 plus desktops and 2,000 plus laptops, which is an ongoing exercise. We haven't stopped yet. And then we also work with partners like UNICEF, who are also helping us to produce teaching materials. Yes. So those are some of the things. And then talking about inclusiveness, Zeta is our angel, and they are helping us distribute computers for children with special learning disabilities. Yes, for example, for the children or for the learners with visual impairments, they are now opening an app which can talk to the learner, so that the learner who is not able to read the content which is on the screen is able now to talk and elaborate issues and content with the computer. So those are some of the things that we are doing as ministry.
Wow, that is awesome. That's you are really doing a great job. So my concern was just as though you've spoken to it in terms of the platforms for them to access these digital materials that you're loading for them. Computers are being distributed and laptops to schools. Now, looking at the number of government schools that we have in the country, how long will that take for you to reach out to everyone? That means that there will be a certain group of learners who will be behind. By the time you get to them, it might be maybe 4 years from now. Yeah, and that's the only concern that I think I have. I don't know what they feel the other ladies in this room is.
I think it's excellent strides by government, honestly, and even the collaboration with ZICTA, you're talking to telcos, you're talking, so you're really putting in a good ecosystem in order to provide the right solutions. For me as well, I think there should be probably more players in there. For instance, if we can look at green energy, solar panels, because this one doesn't touch everywhere. But obviously, I'm sure all those things are being thought about. And obviously, again, another thing is just making sure that the teachers are up to speed.
Oh, yes.
Because, I'm sure all that is being looked at.
I think when we are doing that, we also focus on digital literacy. And in relation to digital literacy, we talk about the training of the teachers. We can't work in a vacuum as the ministry. We work with you people as our partners. Yes. So partners are coming on board. We have like the iSchool tablet, which was also brought to the Curriculum Development Center. We had a roundtable discussion with them where we looked at the specific subject areas. And then we had to align the content which is on the tablet so that we align it with the content in the particular syllabus. So that is what we have been doing. So a lot of partners are coming on board. And that is the reason why I said it is an ongoing process. We are not going to end here. We are still going gradually.
Maybe the last thing I can also say is that we have so many brilliant innovators in this country who have developed excellent in this room, and of course who have developed excellent educational innovations. We need to tap into this. It's absolutely critical because the solutions are there. We just need to collaborate.
In that line, I remember when I started, I said we are focusing on innovation, innovativeness. Yeah, that is the more reason we are actually in the process now of evaluating, reforming the curriculum. Remember, it's 10 years now since we evaluated the curriculum. So we are reviewing it, and in that reviewing, we are bringing now an emphasis on STEM as an approach. So the children now have to be innovative. That is the one reason why for STEM, we are starting with the early years education.
And they can look up to Susan.
So now focus on the career paths. We start from the early years, then we follow the career path of individual levels.
And that would be great.
Oh, that's great. Emma?
Add on, I think it was your concern to say when will the other, by the time we're giving up these computers, maybe some schools have been left behind. Speaking of partnerships, we've also partnered at ZICTA with UNDP to start ICT hubs for girls in communities that don't have computers yet. Because, like this, the process of giving up the computers, it's a long process. You're right about that. Yeah. I mean, do it every year. It's true. Like right now, they're evaluating the schools. So right now we're in the evaluation stage. But then we have these ICT hubs that are coming up. We have one in Teddy, and there'll be another one in Central Province in collaboration with UNDP. So the idea is to give access to girls who don't have access to computers in those areas. So those are the most rural parts.
Okay, that's a very good initiative.
I think that's a great initiative because we shouldn't be stopped by the hardware availability. Because besides the software on the computers, there's also always that software in our heads.
So then it has to go on, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much for that elaboration, Priska and Emma. Now coming to Susan, we understand teaching a child can be very hectic and can be very tiring. And teaching a child, it should be a passion for a teacher because people break out. You know what I mean? They really do break out. Teachers actually, and then I commend those guys. They're doing a very good job because teaching a child can be something. Now, speaking to that, we've heard from what Priska said, they're rolling out these initiatives in the rural areas and all. From your side of point as an entrepreneur, are there any digital solutions, like local digital solutions that can solve our local problems as Zambians, that you can actually deploy to these schools, to the learners? And if at all they're there, what are the cost implications, and how do people just access these digital innovations?
Wow, I don't even know what to say right now because she is like saying everything
Everything,
that was supposed to be said. But then looking at what they can be used as local digital educational resources, I was thinking we introduce also LCD screens if the computers are not able to reach in rural areas where they're able to use them. And then in a full class where you just sit there and then they're able to show how you're supposed to operate the computer. And then also equipping the teachers also is one of the most important things that we need to do. Like we as Zelu Plus, we're having issues with our teachers able to sign up on the app. So I feel like the teachers also need to be taught because I know that they say they're called BBC. Yes. Yes. So we have all those challenges. So I think equipping the teachers also and providing LCD screens and then also impacting them through videos that show on how you're supposed to use technology. Yes, something like that.
Yeah. So talking from a point of Zelu Plus.
Yes.
So Zelu Plus is, I've come across it. You provide learning solutions to teachers and link teachers to pupils. Can you just elaborate more on that? Probably somebody out there would want to benefit. There's a school there that is trying to look for these apps and all. Just speak to that.
Okay, so we link students to teachers within the same location. So what you do, you go through the app, download it through Play Store, and they are able to get a teacher for any subject that you want. So let's say from grade 1 to 12 as well as GCE students. Yes, so we provide one-on-one tutoring sessions with the student at their home. Okay. So I trying to not think that we are a school, but we are supplementing to a school. So if a child has difficulties in math, there's a topic that they don't understand. So you go through our app and select a tutor that lives within the location. So if you live in Shalala, get a tutor that lives within Shalala.
So you're able to pick this teacher within the area from the app itself?
Yes. We have about 400 teachers that are registered with us on the mobile app. So our teachers are both employed and employed as well. Unemployed and employed. So for the employed is extra income. For unemployed, it's actually their job.
Susan, I have two questions. Can you first of all maybe repeat the name of the app, and then secondly, how do you assure the quality of the teachers?
Yeah.
Okay, so the app is called Zelu Plus.
Zelu Plus.
Yes,
Zelu Plus.
So I share it. Yes. So our teachers, before they could even conduct any services or any tutoring services with the students, we actually have an in-house screening where they have to send in their TCZ, so they are all TCZ certified.
And before you go, sorry to interfere.
Yes.
I want to believe that the content of the material, the app, is in line with the Ministry Curriculum Development Center, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
So we get the NRC, the educational documents which we have. So even when you are trying to check the tutor, all that you see from the app. So you see how many years have they worked, are they TCZ, because all of them are all TCZ. You can't get them on TCZ.
What is what?
Teaching Council of Zambia.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
They are
Good to know.
Yes.
Good to know. Okay. Thank you so much, Susan.
Say something. Yeah. So I just want to commend Susan for the fabulous work she's done, and then I really want to say something regarding the problem that I have. We have all these fabulous innovators in this country. This is the theme of this year. Fantastic innovators. I always ask wherever I am, depending on whatever event or initiative or whatever it is that I'm in, where do we access these innovators? How do we support them? How do we use their I've got a daughter, she needs a maths tutor, but this is my answer.
Where you from?
So how do we bring all these fabulous people with their great ideas, great innovations in one place, whether it's on a website or someone needs to think of that. I just thought let me put it out there.
You were putting it out there. Innovators out there, there's a job for you here. Please keep it in one place so we can access all the services that we need. Yeah, and she's one of them. I guess you can do that, right? You can do that. Okay. Thank you so much, Susan.
Thank you.
Now, coming from an entrepreneurship side of it as well, Maiza, in this rapid-changing business space that is promoting the use of innovation and technology, how do you think entrepreneurs are ready to embrace it? Because now, just for your own information, there's an agenda being developed on e-commerce. Okay, strategy being developed by government on e-commerce. So I'm sure this is a platform that will bring businesses, entrepreneurs on the same platform. From your point of view as an entrepreneur and as a digital person, probably a technologist, do you think entrepreneurs are ready for this change? And if at all they are they willing to change for the better? Yeah, maybe just speak to that.
Thank you for that, Malita. And I mean, my response to this is going to be 100% yes. Entrepreneurs are very ready, for the digital space, for innovation. They are more than ready, actually. And what is also very impressive in our country today, is the first of its kind, the Ministry of Technology and Science, which is sort of like pushing, the innovation and technology agenda, which is honestly really, really great, and we never had that before. And so you see a lot of entrepreneurs today wanting to have this online presence because you want people to be able to locate you, right? And so we have people setting up their websites. And no, you don't even need to hire someone to create a website for your business. You can do it by yourself. Yes, you just
WordPress there,
exactly.
just drag and drop.
Exactly.
So Blackboard is
exactly. Yes, and of course, there's what we call search engine optimization, of course, where you can work with companies like us, Chesco Tech, and we can help you, have that visibility for your business. But there's so much flexibility and so many tools now, and I think the new thing that everyone is talking about now is the Chat GPT, and if you haven't tried it, then I don't know. Where are you? I don't know. Yeah, and so we see that there's so much power in our hands as entrepreneurs, and there's so many tools that we can actually use to grow our businesses. So definitely, the entrepreneurs are ready, the market is ready, and we just have to grab, the
opportunity and
take it by storm.
Yeah, and I want to come in right there from the aspect of financial education and financial literacy. What we see in our mentorship program that we've developed as DSIK together with WEAC, it's called Entrepreneurship Zambia. The need for systems to keep your accounts, your balance sheet, to automate invoices. Like, how many incredible entrepreneurs are out here? Many of them are my friends, and they're like, oh yeah, then you owe me a 500 for that dress that I made you, and yeah, then I think I put something in our WhatsApp chat, and you're like, wow, I think if you have a system for that, it will be so easy. So that's key.
No, thank you so much, Maiza, for that. I think innovations are there, digital solutions are there for everyone. No one is going to be left behind. You just have to grab the opportunity and move with it. Move with the world, don't remain behind. All right? So I'll come to you, Hannah, in terms of you've conducted research on gender parities and all this in digital technology and all. Can you give us the numbers? Why do you think there's so much low participation from women? Why are women being looked at as they can't do sciences, they can't work in sciences, and they can't do this tech, the technology, in the technology sector, they can't make it? Why do you think there are those numbers and all? Just speak to that and probably unite everyone.
Sure, thank you so much, Anita. So I would like to break down that question a bit into the external aspects that are there and then the internal, maybe confidence questions that are there. Because the research hints at the pure numbers which show, yes, there's a digital device. Men use digital tools more than women. But then once you feed it with the data, and Zigta is doing a great job in providing the data, there's also, for the African context, there's a research institute in Cape Town, Research ICT Africa. They're doing great work. They don't only look at the access, but also the usage. So that we can actually understand, okay, once the access is there, what do women use it for? And first of all, in terms of the access, if we factor in the aspect of income, of access to employment, of the educational level, all those aspects where women are still lagging behind, unfortunately, this interferes with the access. So once you factor in those variables, you will see, okay, women are actually the one who embrace technology more enthusiastically. Now we have seen they're the ones more active on social media. And of course, then we need to also take a closer look and say, okay, what terms of comments do you actually post? And this is also our role, as Priska said, mothers being the first educators. Talk to your children, don't drag other women down. And so then the other aspect of that, if we look at the internal factors, very often in school, as we're told, I think role models is a good answer. There was a test done in a coding class, whereas boys, they would be like, okay, I think I solved the task. And the teacher would come, there's some issues, maybe you solved it 60%, but you tried, well done. Whereas the woman, she would be like, no, I didn't solve it. Then you undo, the code comes, you undo, the code comes. Why did you delete all that? So this is a story to share that I think we can relate to. It's maybe that drive to fear of failure. That you'll be like, no, I can only present my solution if it's 100%. Keep trying, keep doing.
Right.
And there's also, unfortunately, I forgot her name, but I would love to share it with you. There are Zambians around who are very female tech innovators who promote girls in coding. So this is a big initiative, and I would recommend everyone go out there, do those tools. It's open source, and start coding.
Sure.
Okay, no, thank you so much for that insight, Hannah. Any
Just
other?
to add on what Hannah was saying, what we also need, especially for a time like now in the space that we're in, and also just to support what she says, we need to encourage girls to pursue, the STEM fields. That is very critical because you notice that so many young girls, as they're getting older, they already have their career path chosen for them, actually.
By parents.
Or relatives, Her passion is really STEM, and she really wants to be this computer nerd, But the mom says, in this country, it's easier to get a job if you're an accountant,
if you're a teacher.
Exactly. Or it discourages you. You're like, okay, so I probably can't do it, So if we could actually have more of these programs aggressively on the market that actually encourage women to pursue the STEM.
So what they need is inspiration for them to be able to pursue such career.
Another way of inspiring, I believe, is being able to see that someone else has done it.
Yes.
So if you see, there's a woman there, she's an innovator, she's in technology, she's good at STEM, and you're like, I can do it too.
She can do it, I can do it.
Yes, and one thing I've realized is that women were the last ones to stand on a pedestal and say, I am good at this, I've done it. So if you're quiet and you're keeping it to yourself, how do you think this little girl, who's a 6-year-old girl, who really likes maths, or that young girl in university who's thinking, should I do computer science, should I not? Or that young lady who just entered, started working, started her career, if they don't have people to look up to, how would
it just be like a fake kind of partnership?
Because you are being something, you're being something, keeping your success to yourself. You want to know the successful women, so we can look up to them and say, I want to be like that woman.
Mentorship, So I would like to have you on our mentorship program as well, as women innovators.
So it's not just a matter of talking about these things we need to inspire the young ones, the girls. We need to inspire them. We need to mentor them to make sure they come on board into STEM courses and as well, just to feel like they're part and parcel of this development. So we need to do that. So now today, in this year's International Women's Day, as we're trying to say, we're trying to break the gap that has been created. We're trying to look for inclusiveness. We want to look for equity and just see how women can come on board and be a part and parcel of the winning team in the digital space. So how do you think we should celebrate this year's International Women's Day? How do we appreciate a woman? How do we recognize a woman, a girl? I think I'd love to hear from each one of us on this one.
First of all, I would say you're going to appreciate a woman if you acknowledge her accomplishments. This really goes with what she was saying. We have to say it, what the woman has done, and we have to point it out. And there was this program I was actually doing one time, I think it was sponsored by Google. It was called I Am Remarkable. I think some of you ladies may have been come across it, which really encourages you to list down all the things that you think make you a remarkable woman, and I'm a very keen believer in affirmations. I do my affirmations every day. So
in the morning you wake up,
you really speak to your future. Yes, I am this, I want this, and I can do this. So first of all, acknowledge what the woman has accomplished and name it and say, hey, Emma, well done for this. Honestly, that's how you celebrate.
Okay.
I like that, but then
Yaza brought up something so important. Women rarely acknowledge themselves. I think that's the problem that we have. Because we see the same women being appreciated. I don't know if you see that. And not just technology, even in other sectors, it's the same women every year. And then that might not be because of society, it might be because of ourselves. Like, that's
not good enough.
That's an amazing thing. Yeah, you're supposed to tell us what they're doing. At least once a month, remind us. Yeah. So I think I don't know how we can get people to express or just state what they've done. I don't think we appreciate ourselves enough to feel like maybe someone that may not be as good as this one. Should I put this out?
But each person is unique. One thing we forget is that each person is unique. What you do is unique to you, and nobody else can do it better than yourself. So it's about putting it out there, let people see it, let people know about what you're doing and how good you are, and then you see recognition and being appreciated and celebrated.
I think also be fearless, really, because, and that links to also sharing knowledge and using ICT as a tool for women to protect ourselves, because we have seen the cybersecurity aspects in the dangers that are there, but also tech can help us a lot in being more safe. On my iPhone, when you click the both buttons, the volume and the power button, the option that you have emergency mode. This is a very good recommendation for every woman. Whenever you feel unsafe, you take a Durango at night, suddenly you feel maybe the driver has been drinking, whatever it is, you feel like, okay, this is a moment, I have set my emergency contacts, boom, click it, and it will let those contacts know. And the second one is that if we go back, I love the story that you shared in the beginning, Manita, about where Women's Day comes from. Like these brave women that were marching in the streets of New York, we can now use the digital speaking to be those women to spread the message with the world.
For me, I would say we should be cheerleaders for one another. You know, I would want to do something, but then my colleagues at work will say,
that happens a lot.
And as mothers, as women, we start from home. Let us be greatest cheerleaders for our daughters. Yes, and once they grow up, no one out there will tell them, oh, you are beautiful, so I'll give you money, so do this. Now, if it is coming from home, it will be easy.
It will be normal that they've already before.
They've already been cheered.
Like the ones that last year to say somebody told me I'm beautiful today, I've never heard this.
So for me, that is the most important.
For me, how I think we should celebrate this year as Women's Day as women, and even the women around this table, the women listening to this, each and every one of us is good at doing something. So why can't we find a little girl, find a young woman, find an older woman, doesn't matter, find a woman or a girl, and let's mentor. We can all be, we don't have to sit on a Zoom call or have an agenda, well, let's meet every week. No. Let's mentor one person. You can do 2, 3, 5, 10. Well and good. But let us all mentor someone.
That's a good one.
Yes.
We can do it. Can we do this, ladies?
Yes.
From this room, are we able to mentor someone? Okay, ladies. I think we have spoken to so many things, starting from the education sector, cybercrime, the entrepreneurship side of it, and the research side of it. So now it's up to the people out there to get the information right and just see to it that you put into good use whatever discussions, whatever topics, whatever we discussed in this discussion today. Otherwise, we're celebrating today as phenomenal women, and we have done great things. We are proud of ourselves. This should not come from anybody else. If they don't tell us, if they don't tell you, you are doing great. Please continue doing great, and you're being celebrated today on International Women's Day. Otherwise, from myself, from WEAC, and the entire team in the production crew, we wish you all a happy International Women's